Before we dive in, if you love smart, fearless NBA breakdowns that cut through the noise, make sure you're subscribed. We're just getting started. With 17 minutes left in the second half against Oklahoma State, Darren Peterson drilled his sixth three of the night. Kansas went up 13. He had 23 points in just 18 minutes. 12 shots. Pure efficiency. This is the version of Peterson scouts obsess over. A 6'5" scoring guard averaging over 20 a night, hitting 43% from deep, capable of exploding in minutes. The kind of microwave talent that draws lofty comparisons to legends like Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, even flashes reminiscent of Kobe Bryant in his shot-making confidence. But what happened next is why front offices are nervous. Right after that three, Peterson didn't jog back locked in. He pointed to the bench, looked at head coach Bill Self, and signaled, "I'm done. Take me out." No limp, no visible discomfort, no grab at the hamstring, no rolled ankle. Just a player, red hot, asking out of a competitive game with over a quarter left to play. And this wasn't a one-time moment. Weeks earlier, in a single-digit game with just over 2 minutes remaining, Peterson motioned to be subbed out while the ball was headed his way. The possession ended in a turnover. Then came the Arizona situation. A courtside rumor suggested illness, tension, miscommunication. Kansas publicly denied any dramatic backstory. Still, the game was missed. Officially, sickness. Add that to other absences this season, including multiple games sidelined with cramps, and the conversation shifts from random incident to recurring pattern. Cramps are real. Every athlete knows that pain. But missing full games, sitting extended second halves, requesting early exits while dominating, that's where evaluators start asking harder questions. Because the NBA isn't just about talent. It's about availability. It's about durability. It's about trust. Kansas wasn't up 30. They were up 13. This wasn't garbage time. This was momentum time. And when elite scorers get hot, they usually press the gas, not signal for the brakes. Think about killers like Kevin Durant or Stephen Curry. When they feel it, they bury you. Peterson buried Oklahoma State from deep. Then he checked himself out. And suddenly, the question isn't about his jumper, it's about his mindset. When elite shooters catch fire, the last place they want to be is the bench. History shows it. When a scorer feels that rhythm, when every release feels automatic, they demand the ball. They glare at coaches who even consider subbing them out. That's the mentality fans are used to seeing from greats. So when Darren Peterson buried his sixth three of the night with a realistic path to 40-plus points and calmly signaled that he'd had enough, it felt off. Not dramatic, not emotional, just casual. And that's what unsettled people. Now compare that moment to the other projected stars in this class. A.J. Dybantsa has logged 39 minutes in a marquee matchup against Arizona, after playing 43 the game before and 40 prior to that. Cameron Boozer has consistently crossed the 35-minute mark in every competitive game this season. No early exits, no visible minute restrictions when the lights are brightest. Whether fair or not, scouts and fans naturally compare habits, not just highlights. So the conversation around Peterson shifts. No one doubts the talent. The shot creation is real. The efficiency is real. The scoring bursts are elite. But questions creep in about presence, about urgency, about whether he feels fully invested in the grind of college basketball, or simply passing through it on the way to the league. And let's be honest, everyone knows the goal is the NBA. That's not a secret. In today's landscape, with NIL deals, the one-and-done rule, and millions waiting at the next level, protecting your body is a business decision. From a purely strategic standpoint, limiting wear and tear before draft night makes sense. But here's where it becomes complicated. There are two completely different interpretations of what we're seeing. One, he loves the game. He's battled legitimate injuries, hamstring tightness, ankle tweaks, cramping episodes. And instead of shutting it down entirely, he's trying to manage those issues responsibly. Play hard in bursts, avoid long-term damage, protect draft stock without risking a catastrophic setback. Or two, the conditioning isn't there, the endurance isn't there. The competitive fire doesn't burn the same way. And if that's true, then teams have to ask a terrifying question. Can you build a franchise around someone whose motor is already under scrutiny before he's even played an NBA game? Because the narrative has grown louder. He doesn't love basketball. He's disengaged. He's thinking about draft night, not tonight. Head coach Bill Self has pushed back strongly on that idea. Earlier in the season, he addressed the criticism directly. He confirmed the hamstring issue was real, the cramping was real, the ankle turn was real. In his words, it's been a string of bad luck, not a lack of passion. So now we're left with a split perception. Is this calculated preservation, or is it an early warning sign? Because in the NBA, talent opens the door, but mentality decides how long you stay. A month ago, when the injury conversations first surfaced, the tone felt manageable. Coach Bill Self defended his star. He confirmed the hamstring tightness was real, the cramping was real, the ankle tweak was real. At that point, it sounded like simple bad luck. But since then, after the now viral moment of Peterson signaling to the bench mid-heater, you could sense a subtle shift. Self's body language, his phrasing, the visible frustration of only getting 18 minutes out of a player who could have exploded for 40. And here's why this has become national draft news. This isn't a weak draft class. It's loaded. Multiple players project as long-term franchise cornerstones. So if a front office uses the #1 overall pick on Darren Peterson, they aren't just selecting him, they're passing on other potential stars. That's why every detail matters. Every possession, every quote, every early substitution. If he were a projected late first rounder, no one blinks. But at #1, teams need certainty. And on the court, the resume is powerful. Despite averaging just 26 minutes per game, he's still putting up over 20 points per night. He's shooting 43% from three and hovering near 50% from the field. Efficiency like that at his usage level is rare. He's a high-level athlete with smooth elevation, elite shot versatility, dangerous off-ball movement, and real mid-range craft. Defensively, he's flashed disruptive instincts and competitive possessions that hint at two-way upside. There aren't many scoring concerns. If there's a basketball weakness, it's playmaking consistency. The assist-to-turnover ratio trends negative. In fact, over a recent 84-minute stretch, he recorded just 1 assist. That doesn't make him broken, but it does mean he isn't a flawless prospect. He profiles more as a dynamic scorer than a primary offensive engine right now. Still, talent evaluators agree. His athleticism and shot-making ceiling make him one of the most gifted prospects in recent memory. Which is exactly why the bench signal became such a lightning rod moment. Because when you're that good, teams don't just want production, they want obsession. And this isn't the first time a future star has faced questions about loving the game. A few years ago, Anthony Edwards raised eyebrows before the draft when he admitted basketball wasn't his only passion and even mentioned the NFL as an appealing alternative. Critics exploded. Can you take someone #1 who doesn't eat, sleep, and breathe hoops? Fast forward, Edwards is now one of the faces of the league. His fire? Undeniable. Then there's Jalen Johnson. He shut himself down mid-season at Duke to prepare for the draft. Optics were rough. People questioned his commitment, his resilience, whether he'd quit when adversity hit. Today, he's one of the most promising young forwards in the NBA. History shows that perception before draft night doesn't always predict reality. But history also shows the other side. Ben Simmons entered the league as a generational talent, multiple All-Star appearances, defensive accolades. Yet debates about aggression and engagement have followed him for years. DeAndre Ayton was a dominant #1 pick with elite physical tools, but consistency questions have never fully disappeared. The difference between productive star and franchise face often comes down to internal drive. That's why teams are dissecting Peterson so intensely. Because in a draft class this strong, with competitors like AJ DeBonsa and Cameron Boozer pushing their limits every night, the margin for error is razor thin. If talent is equal, mentality becomes the separator. Peterson absolutely has the skill to justify the first pick. The real question front offices must answer is deeper. Does he burn for it the same way the other top prospects do? Because #1 overall isn't just about who can score 20 in 26 minutes. It's about who you trust to carry your organization for the next decade.